A sum of money is to be shared among Victor, Faith, and Debbie in the ratio 2, ratio 1.5, ratio 2.5 respectively. If Faith receives 10,000 naira, what is the sum of the money? Okay. Let's start by writing out the information that we are given in the question. We are given that a sum of money is shared between Victor, Faith, and Debbie. So for this, I'm going to have Victor, which is V, Faith, and Debbie. You understand? You see, I represent Victor as V, Faith as F, and D as Debbie. Do you understand? Okay. Now the ratio is 2 ratio. Ratio is 2 ratio 1.5 ratio 2.5 respectively. Do you know the meaning? That means that when Victor receive 2, let's say it is a naira. When Victor receive 2 naira, Faith will receive 1.5 naira, and Debbie will receive 2.5 naira. Do you understand? So the Victor is 2, Faith is 1.5, and Debbie is 2.5. Now we want to determine the sum of the money, but we are given additional information. The additional information that we are given in the question is that we are given the amount that Faith received. Faith received 10,000 naira. So the amount that Faith received is what? 10,000 naira. Now we are told to determine the sum of the money. Do you know the meaning? We are told to find the total amount of money that was shared between the 3 of them. Do you understand? So let the total amount of money, let the sum of the money be X. Okay? Let the sum of the money, let it be X. Equals to X. Okay? Now, don't forget in our previous class, we have solved a typical question like this. Now, the first step now is to add all the ratios together. Okay? So the sum of ratio will be equals to 2 plus 1 over 2. That is 1.5 plus 2.5. That will be 2 plus 2 times 1 is 2. 3 over 2 plus 5 over 2. For this, I'm going to have, if I take the LCM here is what? The LCM is that is 2. Okay. 2 divided by 1, 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 2 divided by 2, that is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 plus 3 plus 2 divided by 2, that is 1. 1 times 5 is 5. Okay. So for this, I'm going to have 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. So I'm going to have 12 all over 2. That is 6. Okay. And the reason why I show this step is because I'm explaining. If I'm summing this in an exam, because this is a typical objective question, I will easily just do like this. 2 plus 1.5, that's 3.5. 3.5 plus 2.5, that will give me 6. Do you understand? Okay, so the sum of this is what? 6. Do you understand? Now, having known the sum of the ratio, we can easily determine the sum of the money, because we've been given the amount that Faith received. We've been given the amount that one of these people received. That is Faith. The amount that Faith received was 10,000 naira. Now, we can easily determine the total amount of money that was shared between these 3 people from the amount that Faith received. Do you understand? Now, look at this. The ratio of Faith, that is 1 over 2. That is 3 over 2 all over the sum of ratio multiplied by the total amount of money. That will give us the amount that Faith received. Hello, please pay attention. The ratio, that is 1 over 2 all over the sum of ratio, that is 6, multiplied by the total amount of money that was shared between the 3 of them, will give us 10,000 naira. That is the amount that Faith received. Do you understand? Okay, let's go. So for this, I'm going to have 3 all over 2 divided by the sum of ratio. The sum of ratio is 6 divided by 6 multiplied by x will give us 10,000 naira. Okay, so for this, I'm going to have 3 over 2 multiplied by 1 over 6 multiplied by x is equals to 10,000. Okay, 3 multiplied by 1 is what? 3. So I'm going to have 3 over 12 multiplied by x is equals to 10,000 naira. Now, 3 over 12 multiplied by x. What's the answer? That is 3x over 12. Okay, so for this, I'm going to have 3x all over 12 is equals to 10,000. Now, we have gotten to this point. What are we going to do? Just cross multiply. So, for this, we are going to have 3x is equals to 120,000. Okay, so this over 3 and this over 3. X is equals to 40,000. So the sum of the money that was shared between the three of them is 40,000. Okay, that is the answer. The sum of the money that was shared between Debbie, Faith, and Victor is 40,000 naira. I'm very sure you understand that. Okay, let's have another work example. Obi and Audu own a shop. The ratio of Obi's share to Audu is 10:7. Later, Audu sells 1/5 of his share to Obi for 6,300 naira. Find the value of the shop. Okay, let's start by writing out the information that we're given in the question. We are given that Obi and Audu own a shop, and the ratio of Obi's share to Audu is 13:7. So we have the ratio. The ratio here is 13:7. That is 13:7. Okay, I want you to pay attention to the information in the question. We are given that the ratio of Obi's share to Audu is 13:7, which means that when Obi has 13 as his share, how do we have 7 as his share? Do you understand? So we have Obi will be equals to 13. That means Audu will be equals to 7 as its share. Now, later, Audu sells 1/5, that is 1/5 of his share to Obi for 6,300 naira. Now, you see, before we can determine the value of the shop, we don't know it. So we are going to represent the value of the shop as any letter. So for this, I'm going to have, let the value of the shop be equals to x. Do you understand? Please, I want you to pay attention. Let the value of the shop be equals to x. Now back to the information. We are told that Audu sells 1/5 of his share to Obi for 6,300 naira. Now, if the value of the shop is x, don't forget that both Obi and Audu shares this value. Are you paying attention? Both Obi and Audu shares this value. Now, let us determine the individual share. Are you paying attention? To determine the individual share, we have to first sum the ratio. Okay? Now, 13 plus 7, that is the sum. Sum of the ratio is equals to that is equals to 13 plus 7. 13 plus 7 is equals to 20. Do you understand? Now, having known the sum of the ratio, let's determine the individual ratio. The Obi share now will be the ratio of Obi, that is 13. Obi share is equals to 13 all over the sum of ratio. The sum of ratio is 20 multiplied by the value of the shop, which is x. Please, I'm very sure you understood how I got this. If you didn't understand, you can check the description of this video. There are links there to some basics question that we solve on ratio. But if you missed the first, second, third class and other classes like that on ratio and proportion, you can easily get it back. Just check the description of this video. You're going to see there's some things there. Click on that link to watch the video. Okay. Now, this Obi share. Now, how do share is equals to 7 all over 20 multiplied by the total value of the shop. Now, if Audu sells 1/5 of his share to Obi at the rate of 6,300 naira, that means, please, I want you to pay attention. This is also the same thing as 13x all over 20, and this is also the same thing as 7x all over 20. Abi? Now, the information says from the question, we are told that Audu sells 1/5 of his share to OB, 1/5 of his share to OB at 6,300 naira. This means that 1/5 means 1/5 is equals to 1/5. Do you understand? So from the question, Audu sells 1/5 of his share. Don't forget that this is the share of Audu. Please pay attention. Don't forget that this is the share of Audu. Audu has 7x over 20. Audu sells 1/5 of his share to OB at 6,300 naira. That means I'm going to have 1/5 multiplied by Audu share. Audu share is what? 7x over 20. So I'm going to have multiply 7x all over 20 is equals to 6,300. Please, I just interpret the question. You see, in mathematics, you must know how to interpret question. Okay? You see, your ability to interpret question alone has already solved half of the problem. Do you understand? Now, we are told in the question that they share the money, they share the value of the shop. The value signifies the money. They share the value of the shop in this ratio, starting ratio 7. Now, we are told that though having shared the value of the shop in this ratio, Audu sell 1/5 of his own share to OB at the rate of 6,300. Yeah, that's how I come about this. Okay, so I've not done anything. Just pay attention. Now we can easily determine the value of x from this equation. Now let's go. For this, I'm going to have 7x all over 100, because 5 times 20 is what? 100 is equals to 6,300. Okay. What are we going to do now? The next step now is to cross multiply. And if you cross multiply, we are going to have 7x is equals to 6,300,000. 100 multiplied 6,300. That is 630,000. So the next step now is to divide both sides by 7 to get the value of x. And if you divide both sides by 7, we are going to have 7x all over 7 and 630,000 all over 7. What's the answer? That will give us 90,000. That is give us 90,000. So this is 90,000. Therefore, the value of the shop is 90,000. 90,000 naira. Put the unit, okay? Always remember the unit. So the value of the shop is 90,000 naira. So that's how they solve the question. You see, in this topic, you must be able to interpret question. Okay? You must be able to interpret question. Okay, let's have another work example.
To watch the next class, kindly check the description of this video. You are going to see a link there. Click on that link, or you should check the playlist on this channel. Okay, see you in the next class.